Hey friends, it's Jamie from Independence Street Tarot and Seasons and Ritual. And I just want to jump on real quick. It is Sunday, the 22nd. It is the day after the bombing in Iran. And I just wanted to come on and tell everyone if you need to step back, unplug, take a minute, you 100% can. There's too much going on in the world, and your mental health is first and foremost. And so if you have to unplug, unplug. If you have to unsubscribe from things, unsubscribe. I guarantee you you're not going to be left in the dark. This is an important time where energy is shifting, and it's really important for us to really understand where we are in ourselves, right? It is cancer season. And cancer rules the home. And let me tell you this. This is my job, right? This is what I do. But even if it wasn't, like, I can relate these things to astrology. I can relate these things to tarot because that's what I do. That's what I study, you know. At the same time, it doesn't matter if you believe in any of this stuff or not. What matters is how you're feeling as a human. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, and if you're feeling out of sorts, and especially if you're feeling scared, take a step back. Do what you need to do in order to take care of yourself, take care of your home, take care of your mental health, take care of whatever it is, whatever it is. Um, a lot of times being in this space, I do get concerned that a lot of times as humans, we are always waiting for the next thing to come out, like the next psychic to give their next prediction and the next um whatever, so and so to tell you what they saw in their remote viewing. And like I saw this one person um come through my YouTube feed, and they they're scrying, which is using candles and water, and they were going to be able to give you the date of when, DT dies, and it was like, this is getting to be way too much. Okay, this is, and again, these are like, this is the spaces that I'm in, right? But even I respect people for what they do and for their job and their livelihood. But also, I have to tell you that it's really important for you to protect your energy, protect your heart, um, protect your mental health, right? There's only so much we can process in a day. And I mean, I was on Instagram for a little bit today because I was posting a little story over there as well. And I mean, I went on to someone's page and I was flipping through all the conspiracy theories. I mean, I know there's a lot, but this was insane. I was like, I can't do this. I mean, they had 20 different ones, right? And I was like, and this was on just on one page. And I was like, this is getting to be too much. So, for me being in cancer season, I would say it's cancer season. Jupiter's in there. Jupiter wants to um light up the home because Jupiter is expansion, and it wants you to see how you can keep yourself safe, how you can keep yourself calm, how you can nourish yourself, right? And then, once you were nourished and you can take that to the others if you want to in your community, then you can do that. Jupiter and Saturn are still in the square. The square lasts, I think I said, until I want to say July 6th. I'm not sure. Oh, it might be July 9th when Gemini has Uranus move in. So in this square, these squares create a lot of tension. So we have Jupiter, who is in Cancer, which is cardinal water, and then we have Saturn, who is in Aries, which is cardinal fire. If we can stay at the higher end of the vibration of these, it's still going to be tense because it's going to be questioning us, or, not questioning us, but pushing us to see where it is that we can build on that is strong. Um, Aries is that the self, that I am presence, right? And And Cancer is the home, right? Cancer is creation. Um, so how are we going to build a way to keep ourselves safe in our homes, right? How are we going to initiate to say it's okay if in my home I don't want to bring in this other energy and feel okay with that and not feel guilty and not feel shameful because you're not up on every second of when something is coming across the wire. I know one of my favorite subscriptions I had unscribed to because I was just getting too many emails, and I was like, you know what? They have a YouTube channel, so I was like, I'll just keep up with what I want on the YouTube channel because I was subscribed, so I was getting more stuff on the back end, and I was like, I don't think I it's not that I didn't think, it's like I know I don't need all this at this time in my life. And so, you know, they're not going to get my $10 a month, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But for me, and I remember texting my friend, I was like, I think that I'm not going to up the subscription just for my mental health. And, she's supportive. She's like, yeah, of course. Do what you got to do. And so, and I extend that to all of you. Um, I was talking with my moon class this morning, and you know, where the planets were yesterday, um, Mars was in a bunch of squares and quincunxes. And I said, in this administration here, in America is really still running on that lowest denominator, old energy, old patriarchal energy of Mars. But and this is what you get. But if you are in that higher denominator of Mars and you have these squares and you have these quincunxes, which it's putting pressure on you, right? Mars would then treat the situation differently. And you can look about how you went about your day yesterday and how you felt. The other big news was to me was that the sun is in Cancer, right? So that masculine sign of the sun is in the divine feminine sign of Cancer. Jupiter, which is also fire, is in Cancer. Um, the moon last night was in Taurus, which is divine feminine energy. The moon also rules Cancer. But the moon last night was in conjunction with Venus, right? So there's still a lot of this divine feminine energy on the planet. And this divine feminine energy is how we nurture ourselves. Remember, it's not about um, our sex or the way we present. These are just energies, right? So it doesn't matter. But the divine feminine energy is really strong on the planet still holding that space, still nurturing, right? It's just depending on where people are in their journey and how they are in what level, right? What level they're at. And this administration is at the lowest level possible. That's why everybody's like, how can they be so cruel? And they can be so cruel because they're basement level, right? Or I don't even know what's lower than that, right? And then other people that are leveling up and being like, wait, I love my neighbor, or, this isn't right. Those are higher vibrations that are coming onto the planet. And that's why, again, if we go back to those peaceful protests, right? That's that divine masculine in working, but also when people are sticking up for others when they're getting illegally searched or detained, that's a divine masculine presence as well. So there are lots of divine energies on the planet right now, and it's really important for us to see that and not get bogged down in those lower shitty energies that are they're still here, they're still here. We still have free will. People will still say this is dualistic planet, right? So all that can be true. So it's really important for us. And I would say every day, whether it's cancer season or not, of course, I'm going to say because it's cancer season, because it is. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter who you follow, all that stuff. What matters is that you start paying attention to how you're feeling and if things are making you feel overwhelmed. on edge, anxiety, then pay attention to those. Start taking that, subtracting those away from your life. Okay? um, because it's really important for your mental health. It's really important for just your heart, it's really important just for your day-to-day um, life. Because when there are times where you're going to be called to come into a tough situation or hard situation, it's going to be easier for you to come in and meet that challenge because you're going to be able, your heart space is going to be clear, right? Your mind is going to be clear. You're not spending every waking hour waiting for the next prediction or waiting for the next, I don't know, what someone to tell you what to do, right? This is the time that we have to start getting back in touch with ourselves, our intuition, our angels and guides, if that's what you believe in, how much you love science, if that's what you believe in, how much you love nothing, if that's what you believe in, okay? And when you keep sitting in that and you keep going back to your tools, right? And whether your tools is you have a therapist that you go and talk to, or your tools is these are the medications that I take that make me feel better, or your tools are I make sure I drink X amount of glasses of water a day, It's always important for us to go back to our tools. It's always important for us to go and be grounded. And because no one knows you better than yourself, right? And when you are listening to yourself first and foremost, and you don't have the chatter of everyone else, you're going to make the right decisions. You're going to know when to say, "Oof, this is getting to be a little much." And you're going to know when to say, "You know what? I'm here. I'm ready to volunteer. I'm ready to step up. I can do this." So, I hope you guys take some solace in this message. Like I said, it's the 22nd, it's Sunday. I hope you can take um, just a few minutes maybe on the Sunday to take a couple deep breaths, reach out to the people you need to reach out to. And if there are people that you need to not reach out to, don't. And if you've got to start putting up stronger boundaries with other people, then this is the time to do it. Jupiter in Cancer is going to expand. So if we can expand all the things that are good and all the things that we love within each of our lives, that's a huge ripple effect, right? That's a huge ripple effect that starts to change things. That energy that we can't sometimes see, but we can often feel, and that's just as important. And so that's why it's also extremely important to understand what it is that you're thinking about every day, what it is what you're thinking about when you don't even know you're thinking about it. That is going to help change the situation on the planet, and it's going to help change the situation in your immediate surroundings. Okay, friends, I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys have any questions, always just reach out in the comments below. And I hope you guys can enjoy the rest of this Sunday.